What's up, Ryan K here with Refer.io with today's job search tip. Just before I jump in, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, click down the link and hit subscribe. And if you don't get emails from me, make sure you go over to Refer.io, click on job alerts or subscribe in the top right. Give me your name and email address, the type of job you're looking for, and where you live. And I will go out and scour the entire internet and bring you the freshest jobs every single day. Now, today we're going to talk about how do I go about getting an interview for a job that maybe I'm not qualified for? And by that, I generally mean when you're switching from one job to a completely different job, when you're basically thinking about switching industries, switching job roles, switching, anything like that, it can be very difficult to make that leap from one side to the other. And so I'm going to give you a couple of little points of how to go about thinking through this to make that leap. First off, there's two main things that employers are looking for when they decide to hire somebody for any job, let alone for a job that they're not exactly qualified. Number one is to reduce the risks that the person will be an utter failure at it, right? And that's really hard to do because we don't know you from anybody else, number one. And number two, your resume doesn't look like anything we've seen before. This is especially true when you're trying to switch from one job to the next. And so if you don't actually know who I am, I should probably have introduced myself. So I actually don't just help job seekers find jobs and send millions and millions of emails to them, but I also provide software for over 10,000 companies to help them recruit. This is why I know why this struggle is real and what the challenges are. And so these two main things. Number one is you're a risk. When your resume doesn't look anything like the resumes of other people, then that makes you a bigger risk to take a chance on. Now, there's a couple things you can do with that. The very first thing you should do is when you're looking for a job that looks wildly different than the job you're doing now or in a completely different industry, you need to change your resume. Now, I'm not saying to lie or anything like that, but what I'm saying is you may need to change the lingo and keywords and vocabulary you're using. The best way to do this is to go to LinkedIn or go to Indeed's resume database. You get to Indeed's resume database by going up to the top and clicking on employers and then clicking on resumes and search for somebody who currently does this job today, the job you want. So if I want to go from, say, being an accountant, which I was in the past, to being a marketing person, which I am now, then I would go and search LinkedIn for marketing people at that company. Now, hopefully I can find somebody on LinkedIn or a resume on Indeed for somebody actually doing the job at the company. If I can't, then move one step away from that and say somebody actually doing the job, but maybe at their competitor, or maybe at a company in their industry, or even at the very farthest way, somebody doing the job in a totally different industry. But preferably, find somebody doing the job that you want right now. Download 3 or 4 of those people, as many as you can find, their LinkedIn profile, their Indeed resume, and compare them to yours. Now, I'm not suggesting you lie, but what it's going to do is quickly show you the gap or the differences between you and them. Potentially, there's a bunch of stuff you could change on your resume to change the lingo and vocabulary you're using to better match the industry lingo of the job you want. Because most likely, for instance, if you're leaving the education space and moving over into, say, the private sector, you probably have the same experience to people who've done the job. You just don't refer to it the same way. You don't talk about it the same way. And that makes your resume seem weird compared to the resumes of people who are applying. So that's the first step. Find some models to follow. Look at their resume, change your lingo, keywords, etc. Change your format, change your template, etc. The reason why I know that those resumes are the ones to mimic is because those people got the job you want. Proof positive it worked. Number 2, look for anything you're missing, especially things that deal with software. Any of the software or skills or anything like that, certifications that are on their resume, go Google them. Most likely there are training videos out there so you can learn about that software. Most likely there's certification courses you can quickly take in a weekend, whether it's on Udemy, whether it's on LinkedIn, or whether it's just on the company's website. There's a good chance that you could dramatically level up your software knowledge and then add those words and that knowledge into the skills section on your resume. So that was step number 1. Make sure your resume mimics them. Step number 2, jobs are 2 things. They're about what you know and they're about who you know. Now, the more that you're unable to check down all the boxes on what you know, the more important it will be for you to know somebody. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that job seekers make. Don't just apply for the job through Indeed or through ZipRecruiter or wherever you found it. Find the job that's open, read through the job description, make sure that the words in those ads are on your resume. Go out and find somebody who's currently doing the job so you can adjust your resume to mimic it, and then find somebody who works there to refer you. There's 3 main ways to go about doing this. Option number 1, go to LinkedIn, run a search for that company and see if you know somebody who works there, or if you know somebody who worked there, and get connected to them. Reach out to them and say, hey, I want to apply for this job. Is it okay if I put your name down as the person who referred me? They will love that referral because there's a good chance they get paid for it if they hire you. So that's one way. Number 2 would be to go to Facebook. Now, I know you may not want to post on your profile that you're looking for a job on your actual profile updates. Instead, go run a search in Facebook. You can use LinkedIn the same way in their groups area. Run a search for city and state that you live in, plus the word hiring, help wanted, or jobs. And most likely you will find a whole bunch of Facebook groups with a bunch of people in them that you can go and join. Once you've joined the group, scroll down through all the people posting stuff and see if there's a chance you can actually search the group for the name of the company, see if anybody's posted about it. If you find a post from somebody at the company, direct message that person and say, hey, I see that you posted about XYZ company. Do you still work there? Start a conversation. Ask them same question. I want to apply for this job. Is it okay if I put you down as the person who referred me? Now, the third option is just go ahead and ask a question in that group. And the question could be something like, does anybody work at XYZ company, or does anybody work at or know somebody who works at XYZ company? Wait for people to comment back, engage with them, and do the same thing. What you're looking for is somebody's name to put down as the person who referred you. Now you can go and apply for the job. But when you apply, go directly to their website, click on apply, and make sure in the source you say employee referral and type in that person's name. This right here increases your chance of getting an interview by 500%. You are 5 times more likely to get an interview coming from an employee referral than going through the job boards. Now, once you've actually applied, now you need to circle back to that person and let them know. Whether you know their number on text, whether you can email them, whether you hit them on Facebook or LinkedIn, just shoot them a message and say, hey, Joe, thanks so much for referring me to your company. I went ahead and applied online. I just wanted to let you know in case you want to give HR or the manager or the boss a heads up. Thanks. All right. Thanks so much. I hope that I get to work with you. Just something that simple will spur that person. You don't have to tell them to go and hit up HR. You don't need to push them to nag HR. Just let them know, and most likely they're going to mention it. Now, if you want to further increase your chances of getting that interview, go back to LinkedIn and find the human resources person, the office manager, the owner, the manager, anybody like that at that company, and connect with them. Now, don't just use LinkedIn's default note. Type in an actual custom message. Hey, Joe, I see that you're the CEO of XYZ company. I love that company. I've heard great things about it. I know a couple people who work there, and they say that it's a phenomenal place to work. Just wanted to connect with you. Now, that's the most laid-back approach. You might be more aggressive and say, I actually shot my resume through your application system the other day for XYZ job. Fingers crossed, I hope that I get to meet you in person and interview. You don't have to be pushy. You don't want to be pushing on your toes. You want to be on your heels here. You want to be chill about it. But that connecting with them in that way, through LinkedIn, is a great way to increase the chances that they actually go and look at your resume. And if they look at your resume, you're more likely to get an interview. And so that right there is the best way that I've found to increase your chances of getting an interview for a job that maybe you're not a perfect fit for. Now, the next step will be when you actually get that interview, and now you're going to have to drill deeper into that. Your need to have done research about the industry, about this company, about their products and services, about their competitors is going to go up substantially in order for you to set yourself apart and make up for the fact that your resume and your experience doesn't match what everybody else has. A little bit of work here, a little bit of time and effort. Go find books on the industry, go find blogs on the industry, go read as much information as you can. Consume their entire website. Go watch any videos they put out. Go read their marketing messages. Watch their training if they have training. If it's a restaurant or retail or a local business, go engage with them. Go actually try their services. Read whatever's being said about them on Yelp, on Glassdoor, on Indeed from an employee perspective, on Yelp or Google reviews or Facebook from a service or product perspective. Just immerse yourself in the knowledge around that company and that industry. What it's going to do is cause you to be able to get in an interview where your vocabulary and your lingo will prove that you actually know what you're talking about, that you've done your research, that you've taken initiative. That's going to prepare you for that interview. And literally what you want to do is just start learning the job, learning the lingo, learning the company, almost like you already have the job. Every minute, every hour that you invest in that process is going to make you wildly more likely to get this job and to nail that interview. And that is the proven approach that I've found works all the time. It's been used on me. I've hired people based off this, that this was their approach. It works phenomenally. It will massively increase. It will take you longer. You're going to have to slow things down. You won't be able to apply to 50 jobs. You might only have time to apply to 5. But the key will be you'll be a referral. You're going to get an interview. You'll know people there. And then you will then go and backfill that knowledge before your interview by having really dug into their industry, the company, their competitors, their product, and everything you can find online about them. It is well worth the effort. So thanks for watching this video today. If you found it valuable, please subscribe to our channel. Also go over to Refer.io. Make sure you sign up for job alerts. If this video seemed interesting to you, I guarantee you have friends and family members who would also find it interesting. Please feel free to throw it on Facebook and give us a share. Please feel free to forward it on to anybody you know. We offer free job search and career advice, as well as daily updates of job alerts on any new jobs we find that you'll be a fit for. And we'd love to provide that for you, your friends, your family, your colleagues, and everybody you know, or even those you don't know. So thanks so much for watching today, and good luck with your job search.